John Fitzgerald here for Team Custodian, and welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to talk about real estate agents, and I want to talk about it because I often get clients write to me saying, my real estate agent told me this, my real estate agent told me that, my real estate agent told me this. Firstly, here's what I do. I never listen to what real estate agents tell me. Why? Because I don't trust what they tell me. And I'm not being cynical. I'm talking about 30 years of history. All I want to know is comparable sales and comparable rentals. And when I talk about comparable sales, I want to break that down. So when a real estate agent tells me, oh John, I sold us a house in your area for X dollars, I'll ask them, really? How old was the house? What size was the block of land? What condition was the house in? Why did the vendor sell? Because that tells me about the sale rather than how comparable it was. And too many custodian clients write to me giving me information about what the agents told them without qualifying that information. And you guys know better than me, you know, those of you who are studying real estate agents sometimes sell property, they don't even know how many square metres the land is. And this caught out a lot of custodian clients. On our end of year webinar, I asked a trick question. In fact, it was a series of questions. I said, how many properties do you guys own? You know, 2, 3, 4. And we've got so many clients who own multiple properties. And then I said to them, what's the square meterage of your property? Who knows that? Guess what? 85%. You got me there, John. That was a box you could tick. You got me there, John. This is bewildering to me because we invest in land. We're in the land business. So when I'm asking for comparable sales, what I'm looking at, to be honest, is comparable land sales. Now, Brisbane's an interesting market because we haven't seen a lot of price growth there in the last 5, 6, 7 years. But if I look at land price growth, I see it doubling over the last decade. In fact, more than doubling for that Brisbane Gold Coast region. And the square metre lot rate has gone from circa $200 something a square metre to over $500 a square metre. In fact, in the corridor, it's going up by $20, $30 a square metre almost every 6 months. Phenomenal, phenomenal growth. Really, really big growth. But I look at Sydney, where I'm seeing prices of land go from $500, $600 a square metre to over $1,200 a square metre, and I see there's lots of room there, particularly also because we're building houses on smaller blocks of land, which also comes back into our land use. How I treat real estate agents, I treat them to get information. I do not get appraisals off them. I will do my own appraisals. And that also goes for rentals. Because an agent tells me I'm renting houses in that area for X dollars, doesn't tell me anything. All it tells me is that they've got clients who may not be up with the market. I'll look at what I can rent in that area. I'll even ring agents in that area and ask them about the state of those buildings. And often is the case that my rentals will be higher than many other agents are getting. Particularly agents who have a lot of rentals in that particular area. They're often the laziest. So make those points. Whenever you speak to an agent, you must have a series of questions to ask them to qualify the statements that they make. And always, when you're getting an appraisal, ask them for comparable sales and a breakdown of what is the age of the house. And any house that's more than 10 years old, you've got to discount significantly because the cost of maintenance and upkeep of that house will be around 5 to 10% of the value of the actual building itself per annum. Second question, what is the size of the block of land? Remembering that the value will be made up of the land plus the house with the discount for the age of the house. And thirdly, when you get to comparable sales, why did the vendor sell? And look at all comparable sales in all particular areas. And that will give you a real qualification for what your house should value at, but also what's actually happening in the area. Thanks for listening to me.